When I was about 11, I went to spend the night with my friend at his grandparents' house. They had a pool, and we intended to go for a night swim and watch movies on his grandparents' huge TV afterwards. It was around 9:30 when my parents dropped me off in his driveway. I go to get my bag from the trunk, and as I close the trunk, I hear a splash and a girl laugh, who I assume at the time was my friend's sister swimming. Upset that I'm missing out on the night swim, I quickly tell my parents I love you and bye, then run up to the pool. I realize all the lights to the pool are out when I get to the gate. I think my friends were messing with me since they saw the car headlights and turned the lights off and hid to give me a scare. I look back and my parents had left, so I was suddenly alone on a pitch black pool deck. So I said, "Haha, very funny. I know you guys are here trying to scare me. I heard you laughing," and turn on the lights. With the pool now illuminated, I can now see that there were ripples in the water, but no one was in there. I look around and can't find anyone, but the water is moving as if someone recently got out of the water in the past few minutes. At this point, I can't find my friends and I start to feel very uneasy. This is when I hear a girl giggle, and all of a sudden, there is a splash in the pool, as if someone just jumped in. I saw the splash and heard the laughter, but I saw no one. Needless to say, my 11-year-old self was scared shitless. I booked it to the house, and I banged on the door. They were all in the living room, in their bathing suits, waiting for me. Everyone was dry. I told my friend's dad what I just encountered. He told me a girl died in that pool before his parents bought the house. Apparently, the neighbors had a daughter, and she snuck out one night and got into the pool and drowned. I asked my parents about it since my dad had lived in the neighborhood his entire life, and my grandparents bought their house a street over after World War II. So I figured he would have heard of this girl's death. He confirmed the story my friend's father told me. This wasn't the only creepy thing to happen at my friend's grandparents' house. After all, we spent a lot of time there as kids, but this one specific day really sent chills down my spine. My friend now lives in that house, and I'm often there. Sometimes after a late night gaming session, or night of partying, I leave early in the morning, like 3 or 4 a.m., and I hear a splash. They don't keep the pool up anymore, because the pool needs to be relined and they don't have the money or time to maintain a pool, especially since all of the kids are adults now. It felt more like a ghost was trying to play with me, another kid her age, than harm me. There was no anger or sinister feeling at all, but still, it was really creepy. When I was a child, I had a friend named Lucy. She was a neighborhood girl who would come over to my grandmother's house, which was where I lived at the time. There was a park next to my house that had a deep creek next to it. I couldn't swim, so we always had to have an adult near us when we were at the creek. Lucy was always a toxic friend, but I didn't know at the time. She would always threaten to stop being my friend, or stop talking to me if I didn't do what she wanted. She would also always say that she deserved my toys and my family and my friends more than I did. I didn't mind this, as I had a hard time making friends, and Lucy was one of my only friends. One night, Lucy came over, and she said she was bored and wanted to go to the park. I told her my family was in the backyard, and we'd have to have an adult with us to go, but she said she would leave and never come back if I didn't go with her to the park right now. So I ended up following her, and we went to the park. She walked right past the playground equipment to the creek, and I asked her what she was doing. She said she wanted to go for a swim, and I told her I couldn't swim, and she called me a string of hurtful names including weak, stupid, and an awful friend. This really hurt my 5-year-old self, so I started crying. This made her even angrier, and she told me something I'll never forget. "You're an awful child. Your family deserved me, not you." I was so confused and sad that I just ran home. I never saw her again, and I just thought she was so angry she really never spoke to me again. Now, about a year ago, my family was talking about my many imaginary friends, and my mom said my friend, Lucy, really creeped her out. This was because she was supposed to have a daughter before me who she wanted to name Lucy. My mother had a miscarriage and Lucy was never born. I'm not sure how old I was, but I was really small, maybe around 6 when this happened. I was with a bunch of people from my church having a barbecue at a river. All of the kids were swimming in the water. I didn't know how to swim yet, so I was just staying waist deep in the shallow part. At some point, this girl came up to me and was playing with me. We were splashing each other and stuff like that. The weird thing was that she was probably 13 or so, and I didn't know who she was, even though I knew everyone else there. Apparently, no one else was paying attention to us anyway. She started pushing me out deeper and deeper to where I couldn't touch. She just kept laughing the entire time she was doing this. My head kept going underwater. I tried grabbing onto her arms when she would push me, but she easily knocked my grip loose. The slight current slowly pulled me away from my friends and family while I struggled to tread water. I was panicking, but she wouldn't stop pushing me and laughing. I could not possibly have looked like I was having fun. I would try to yell, but I was only above water long enough to take a breath. Every time my feet touched the mud for a split second, she would just push me again. I couldn't believe she was laughing at me. I was sure I was going to drown. No one seemed to notice. Of all people to intervene, it would happen to be my childhood bully, Zach. He'd always been a jerk to me, mentally and physically, but I still feel like that day he saved my life. He came up to us and told her to get away from me. He grabbed me by the arm and pulled me up to where I could stand high again. Then he ran off and continued to play with the other kids his age, as if nothing had happened. The girl was already a ways away too. I went on playing, and as with so many other things in life, I don't think I told anyone until I was much older. Pretty sure I never saw that girl again.